Good evening, everyone. This is Raul Ortega, your league commissioner, and this is the Week 9 recap. Rosters lock at 7 o'clock today. That's what time the first game is, so get your guys in by 7. Here's some quick league news. There was a trade last week between two teams. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Phoenix is the only team this week with 5 games. I'm going to tell you guys a secret. I'm going to tell you the top free agent to pick up. Jon Leuer. Jon Leuer is averaging 15.8 fantasy points per game. He's the second best player behind Eric Bledsoe, who is on the IR. So expect his numbers to increase dramatically. There are some key IRs this week. First is Damian Lillard, Bradley Beal, Blake Griffin, and Eric Bledsoe. If you have any of those 4 guys, throw them in your IR slot. Pick up someone, maybe Jon Leuer, for example. Let's get on with the trophies. The trophies go to 2 teams. The commish got most points for the week with 395 points and the biggest win with an over 100-point win. The team that went on the opposite end was Vitamin D's Nuts, Vitamin D, who earned 254 points for the week and had the biggest loss. Something to note out is that Andrew Wiggins only got him 28 points that week, and he went against Boston, San Antonio, and Indiana. That is the top 6 defenses in the NBA. Hence, 28 points was that game. Take a look at those matchups. Those tough defenses aren't as promising. Russell Westbrook went against the Clippers, Lakers, Chicago, and Denver, and some of those defenses aren't as good, and he was able to get 122 points. Speaking of Russell, let's go on to the rankings. Here are your top 20 for the guards of last week. There are 2 free agents, Darren Collison at number 17, J.J. Barrera at number 9. And here are your top 5 players last week in the guards. Will Barton, number 5, who was benched. Mike Conley, number 4. Chris Paul, number 3. James Harden, number 2. And last but not least, number 1 overall was Russell Westbrook. This is Russell Westbrook's 5th time in the top 20 this year. Leading everyone is James Harden with 6 times. Russell Westbrook's stats for last week, for the last 5 games to be exact, was 25 points per game, 9.2 assists per game, 47.9 field goal percentage. Not good behind the arc, but he's also averaging 6 rebounds a game, so he's doing pretty darn good. The next are the top 20 forwards. The top 20 forwards there are 3 free agents, Jeff Green at number 18, Nikola Jokic at number 13, Jay Crowder at number 9. The number 1 overall fantasy player, the top 5 fantasy forwards are Thaddeus Young, number 5, Marcin Gortat, number 4, who was benched, Anthony Davis, number 3, Kawhi Leonard, number 2. The number 1 overall forward last week was Kevin Durant, 124 fantasy points per game. This is his 4th time in the top 20, and his stats for the last 25 were 24.4 points per game, 6.2 assists per game, 7.6 rebounds per game, shooting over 50%, and 1.4 blocks per game. He is on fire this last week. He was on fire. Leading everybody in the top 20 with the most appearances is Kawhi Leonard at 5 times. If you notice, real quick to show you something here, in the top 20, I have added a new part here. I added a number here with parentheses. That shows how many times the player's been in the top 20, and the next number shows where they were last week. So if you see, there's a lot of dashes, which means it's not very often that players go into a top 20 consecutively. The ones that are in more, you probably want to put them in more. So for the people out there that are keeping the lineup the same, thinking they got the top 5 players to put in, you still might want to look at your matchups, because the chances of all 5 of your players repeating in the top 20 are very unlikely. Moving on to the overall top 20 players. The commissioner is number 1 overall with 5 players. He now adds Stephen Curry on his team. Team Jensen and Team Audrey each have 3 players respectively. Team Jensen is number 2 overall with 8.3 efficiency rating. Team Audrey is number 3 overall with 12 efficiency rating. The Las Vegas Pretty Boys, Jeremy's the Better Commish, Vitamin D's Nuts Sub-Zero, and he split her open and came inside. All have two players respectively. In the rankings is Las Vegas Pretty Boys number 4 with 6 efficiency. Jeremy's Better Commish at number 5 with 8.5 efficiency. The Vitamin D's Nuts Sub-Zero is number 6 with 7 efficiency. And he split her open and came inside is number 7 with 16 efficiency. Finishing it off is Kawhi Leonard at number 8 overall. There was a trade last week, as I said, and in that trade, Jeremy's Better Commish was able to get 2 players in the top 20 who conveniently are his only 2 players in the top 20. Look at that. And while the commissioner gave up 2 players and got 1 player in the top 20, who no longer is the number 1 overall player, might I add. Here's your top 5 overall fantasy players. Blake Griffin, number 5. Andre Drummond, number 4. James Harden, number 3. Stephen Curry, number 2. And the new number 1 overall fantasy player is Russell Westbrook at 907 points per game. And now, let's get into that preview for next week. We got the game of the week, the Commish versus Team Audrey. Team Audrey is on a 4-game winning streak. She has the longest winning streak right now this season and just had Kevin Durant come off the Player of the Week last week. The Commish just made a trade and came off of a pretty huge win. So this is going to be a big matchup. Both teams are tied for first. The committee has chosen. They picked the Commish to win and break Team Audrey's winning streak. Next game, Jeremy's a Better Commish versus D's Nuts Vitamin D. Jeremy's a Better Commish just got a trade. They got him the number 1 overall fantasy rated player again and another player in the top 20, putting them right into the starting lineup. D's Nuts Vitamin D has yet to win. Since taking over, is on a 4-game losing streak. Tried to do some lineup changes, but unfortunately it did not work out. And the committee has chosen, in a really good game, Jeremy's a Better Commish to pull off the victory. Next game, Team A-Flow versus he split her open and came inside. Team A-Flow finally got their first win last week, and he is keeping the guys in and trying it one more time. He split her open, he came inside, had a great week last week, putting the 2nd most points on the season. However, looking at the matchup, like I told you people, look at your matchup. Team split her open, he came inside, has 2 players that are playing 2 games. Not saying they can't do well. I'm just saying it's going to be really hard to get a top 20 ranking with that low amount of games. But anything can happen. But with that said, the committee has chosen Team A-Flow to get a 2-game winning streak. And finally, Team Jensen versus Las Vegas Pretty Boys. Looking at the matchup, it's pretty obvious. Team Jensen should have no trouble getting a win. Also should probably even have the largest win for the week this week. Last thing I want to point out, people, is that we are halfway through the season. We are now 10 weeks in, and there are, count them, 3 teams tied for first in the East and 3 teams tied for first in the West, with the other 2 teams only 2 games behind. In 5 weeks, I'll reevaluate those standings, and we'll see where we stand. Until then, this is your league commissioner signing off, and play the wire, make some trades. I'll catch y'all next week. Have a good one.